Good afternoon, everyone. It is January 11th and we've got some fun stuff going on. I haven't had that many customs recently just because, going after Christmas and everything, it just kind of like dwindles down. But I do have 2 custom orders in right now that I'm starting to work on. One of them is for 2 plushies. The other one is for 3. Both of them have to be done this month by the end because one of them is for a baby shower and then the other one is for a friend who is having her baby this month. And I've been working on them, especially now that I am pretty much done with the cow pattern. It's now time to focus on these customs and get them off my book so I can go back to market prepping and then writing up my next pattern and starting to test that, since the next pattern I'm doing is definitely going to be a little bit more complicated. I need to spend a little bit more time on it. I did just get a message that one of the ones that was actually due on the 30th is now due on the 20th. So basically I've got 9 days to complete it. I'm not too worried. I actually got most of the pieces done today for one of the plushies, and then I'm gonna work on the lovey next. Honestly, I would have been done with the plushie if it were not for the fact that I'm having to do so many stinking color changes. This is the culprit right here, which has been taking the most of my time up today, is this headpiece. This is supposed to mimic someone's horse, and the last couple horses I've had, they've all been solid color chestnuts. I haven't had to do any crazy color changes. Most of the whites I've just gone in and sewn on afterwards, but I'm definitely not getting that with this one. I have to do a lot of color changes, and the hard thing is I'm essentially looking at a photo and then going off that photo and trying to replicate the feeling as best as possible, but it's really hard to transcribe a picture of a horse with a full-on head to a ball and get the same effect. So I don't think I did it perfect and things aren't gonna line up, but I think that they might appreciate the effort that I put in. And so the lovey that I'm doing is gonna be basically the same pattern. It's not gonna be exactly the same because there's literally no stinking way I can make this exactly the same onto that. This has taken up a lot of my time today because just trying to guesstimate where color changes are gonna go. When you look at this, especially with this pattern, it takes a little bit of time to imagine how this is gonna look. Essentially, this will be the nose and everything. I have to sew it, flatten it out, do the whole process. I've got the ears done. Tomorrow, the main thing that I will be working on will be the body and then one more leg, and then basically it's good to go to be sewn. I have a feeling the body is also gonna take me a fair deal of time because essentially it's the same. It's a lot of color changes and just a lot of browns, whites. This is definitely taking up a good deal of energy, and I guess I wasn't expecting it, so I also didn't charge a different price. I'm doing good progress. I should have them easily done by the new date. And then the third one is I'm making a horse lovey. Loosely started it. And then I will be making a cat. The special request for the cat was this cat has really peculiar ears from being a stray, all cut up and everything and indented. So I'm gonna try and replicate the indents and whatnot. I'm actually thinking maybe if I just went through with some yarn afterwards and kind of sewed them down in weird places. I gotta still figure that out. That's gonna be a test and trial when I get there. So I have a cat, a lovey, the horse lovey, and then I'm gonna be making one of those dogs that the laying down dogs, a golden retriever. Only thing I'm worried about is pretty much everything I've seen with the pattern has it being pretty big, and I don't think I quoted enough money for it, but it is my first time, and I always say the first time I do a pattern, I always undercharge because I literally don't know how long it's gonna take me. I don't know what all it requires. It's really just I don't know. Second time around, I usually charge better. And especially since I'm in a lull right now, custom orders, and I'm not really coming that much money in because I'm not doing customs and I'm not doing markets. I don't wanna scare people off by going too crazy with prices. Those are pretty much gonna be the 2 things we'll probably be focusing on in this video, since it's mainly what I'm working on.
All right, everybody, it is voiceover Carrie, and if you happen to hear any noises, it is my computer in the background dying because I work it to death every time I make a video. But in this fun little clip, I'm currently making the head for the second horse lovey that I was commissioned to do. This horse was a gray horse with darker gray accents and then a black mane. The simplicity of the color definitely was so nice after having to do a lot of color changes on the other one, because the color changes alone took me so much longer. And in this video, this is me actually putting the hair on the plushie version of the original horse that I was working on. So with the plushie version of this, you actually go through and you individually put every single hair strand on. So I actually do a lot more hair than the original pattern calls for, just because I think it looks better with the more hair. But every single piece is put on individually. It can take anywhere from like an hour to a little bit longer. It really just depends on how I'm feeling for that day. And then at the end, I cut it and style it to how I want for the horse.
Hey everyone, so I wanted to come on here and give you guys an update of the first custom, and I finally finished it today. I would have been able to start the second custom, but I ended up deciding to cook tonight for my family, and that took a little bit of time. So, you know, it is what it is, but I was able to get the first part of this custom done because the other day the person actually messaged me and had said that opposed to the custom needing to be done by the 30th, they wanted it to be done by the 20th at the latest. So I'm tending to focus all my attention on this one right now so I can get it done, and then I'll work on the other custom with the 3. Of course, you know, right now since there's really no markets or anything, it's really not a big deal. I've got time. Today is the 12th, so 8 days, plenty enough time. I just have to complete the snuggly or lovey next and I should be in good shape, but I'll show you what I finished up today. The lovey is going to be the same way, a test of patience, just because I've done countless customs before of horses. A lot of times the horses that I've done have been like solid colors, some white, and usually what I end up doing is a lot of times if a horse just has like a stripe or any face marking, I will actually just go back and sew, like crochet the face marking and then sew it on. That way I don't have to deal with like color changes, all that type of stuff. Because this horse is a paint horse and had so much white and changing, I had to do the color changes in the body, and I had like 2 pictures that I was going off of trying to guess, so things maybe didn't line up exactly perfect compared to the pictures that I was sent with like some of the markings, but it's difficult to translate that onto a plushie. This is what we got. All of the horses I've done before have all had gray noses. I did a pink one for this, and you'll see that the eyes are actually blue. The horse in real life has 2 blue eyes as well. So I did blue, so got the nice little light blue. The horse has pretty standard legs, but this foot in the picture had a stripe of gray, so I did that. And then all the color changes here, down the back and whatnot. And then the pictures, it had a black mane, so I gave it a little black forelock, and then a black mane in the back with white, and then a black tail. For the most part, it is done. I will be doing some extra little cleaning up stuff tomorrow and whatnot and just getting it ready, but I think for the amount of color changes that I had to do and just like roughly looking at a picture and being like, okay, I have to figure this out off a picture, I think it looks pretty good. I think they'll be happy, or I hope they'll be happy. Now, I can't say that the lovey that I'm supposed to start next of the same horse is gonna look the same because, well, first they're like 2 completely different patterns, and I don't think I could replicate this even if I wanted to, because honestly I was just freehanding it for most of the time. But I have the first one done, excited to have the first one. Now I can move on to the lovey, and then once the lovey's done, I will start the other custom order that I have. I actually already kind of started it, and I made the head yesterday. I don't think it's gonna take too long, but it's life. Everything takes so long. Alrighty everyone, I wanted to come on here and give you guys a little bit of an update. I have been working on and off. I actually finished the first one for this custom, which y'all saw I think in the previous video. He's chilling right behind me. Off this work desk just so I have a little bit more space. And I started on the lovey version of it today. I'm actually gonna call it a quits on it for today, just because I'm like one of these people that I can only work on one thing for so long before I need to like move on and get started on something else. And so I'm at my point. Right now, I'm finishing up editing a video. If you happen to hear my computer, it's like literally dying in the background. I overwork it, that's all I know. So I'm finishing up a video, which you guys will have seen before this video comes out. It is a video on 5 things I wish I had known before I started a crochet business. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check it out. And the Past 2 videos I did before this one have been more of like a sit down talk about my experiences and whatnot, and I enjoyed filming them, so I always love to hear feedback if you guys like those videos. Maybe I'll continue to like share some of the patterns I use or do some research and work through like maybe some free patterns on Instagram and tell you guys like which ones are worth doing. You know, we're always looking to expand over here. We're always looking to try new things. When I come on and show you guys what I've done for this lovey so far, I am really iffy on it. I think the reason I'm iffy on it is it's because it's so small. I did use a 4, but you know, I usually crochet in 4s. I want to get a 4.5, but I usually do a 4mm. Recently, I have switched to doing some 5mm. It just depends on the project, honestly. But this one is turning out really small. I'm a wee bit worried because I'm supposed to make another custom out of this same pattern, and I'm wondering if it's going to be the same size. Granted, the biggest thing I think that's gonna make a huge difference is the yarn. The brown I had in Sweet Snuggles Light was not the brown that I thought would work out well. And I had actually gotten this chocolate yarn from Premier earlier in the week that I was like, oh, it's so much closer to the horse's color. And I really liked it and everything. But I'm just constantly amazed. If anybody is thinking about doing Premier Sweet Snuggles, just know the thickness of these yarns is completely different. That's one of the reasons I do prefer Sweet Snuggles, is I do like for some of my things to come out like a little bigger, because this is way smaller than I thought. I'll show you what I have so far. So the last couple things I need to finish are like some details, eyes, mane, ears, that type of stuff, which is why I'm not too worried. I think I'm just gonna do it tomorrow. I've got 7 days to complete this. It's not gonna take me 7 days to do eyes, ears, and whatever extra little things I wanna add. So this is what I have, just the body right now, but it is small, guys. It is way smaller than I thought. I'm gonna compare it with you to my cow. It is a little bigger than my cow, but still this is like, I've never had an issue before with any of the snuggles I've made. They've always turned out to be like a little bit bigger than this, and they've always turned out really good, but this one is just way smaller than I thought, and literally the only thing I can think of is because of Premier. I hate using a 5 on Premier Parfait because when I first started crocheting, I used to do crazy tight tension. It was way too tight to do without causing me an extreme amount of pain. So I've definitely kind of like loosened up my tension, and because this yarn is thinner, I always end up getting holes if I go like 5 and above. I can do a 5, but I prefer to do a 4. And I've done 4 on all my other snuggles. So I'm just confused. Only thing I think of is it's literally the yarn, because that's the only difference I'm doing. This is what we've got so far. So like I said, it doesn't have the eyes or the ears yet. The color changes on this pattern is just so difficult because I'm literally looking at a picture and trying to figure out how I'm going to translate that onto this. So admittedly, I'm a little frustrated because I think I might have messed up some of the color things, but then at the same time, I'm like, I really can't. It's so difficult to figure out from a picture. All in all, I still think it looks like the horse. It's just maybe not what I was originally going for, but I'm not certain how I could even change it that much. Working with yarn and working with a lot of colors and not having anything written down is just like so difficult, especially horses. Like they'll have random splotches of white, brown. I'm like, it's so difficult to do and translate it onto this. The original pattern had a really small tail that was literally like, I don't know, the hat. So I went back and I crocheted a thicker tail with just doing some chaining and some single crochets down it, because I wanted it to have more tail. And I might honestly go back and add a little bit more, but pretty much the only thing I have left to do is the ears and the facial features and the mane. And I added the little gray right there, just like on the other thing. This is where I'm at for this. This is gonna be the end of it for today, because like I said, I'm quite honestly fed up with it because I have been working on it all day long and I would prefer to do something else. Maybe make another cow. I wanna make one more cow before my pattern releases on Monday. If not, then I'll start on my next batch of customs, because I have to have those customs done sometime this month.
So one of the nice things about my new yarn room is it actually overlooks the pasture towards my other 2 horses. Freya is on the left, and she's actually in my profile picture for my business, and then 2 Bits is the one sleeping, but I love being able to look out and see them so much. I had never made this particular dog pattern before, but guys, I was kind of getting a workout, and let me tell you, when it was time for me to actually sew all the pieces together, it was so awkward. I was having so many problems. I felt like I was getting a workout that I usually don't get from crochet. And of course I'm singing, but I'm not letting y'all hear it because, like, why would I?
Hey everyone, it is the 15th and I just wanted to come on here and say a huge thank you to everyone who has been supporting me thus far in terms of the mini cow pattern releasing. I'm honestly blown away by the amount of people who have actually purchased the pattern. I thought that maybe like one person might get it, but I didn't expect the amount of people who have already purchased it. And I just want to say like a huge thank you. Like, you guys can't even begin to know how much this means to me. And I'm extremely thankful, and I won't cry. I won't. I have finished almost the majority of the dog that I need to get done, and I so badly wanted to make another cow for the release, and then I was like, I didn't end up having time to do it before the release, and this morning I was really focused on like finalizing some Etsy things and getting the social media stuff already, so I wasn't able to make one for the release video, but I started making one now. And I'm probably gonna finish this guy up for the live stream because I think it'd be fun. I got the body done. I feel like sunflower cow, but at the same time I want it to be more than a sunflower cow. I really love the sunflower or the flower crown that I did on that one cow, so I'm wondering if maybe I can make it like sunflower themed. There's some thoughts. I just gotta figure out what thought I want to do. I don't know if I ever showed you guys. I ended up making the body for this lovey for the horse. This one for the other horse. But I think I talked about this, about the size difference. Premier, Sweet Snuggles Light. Absolutely insane. How am I supposed to... How do you price these things when they're two different sizes? So I think I'm actually gonna work on finishing up this guy tonight because he needs to go off to his other home, and the other horse that I did that's same as this is already finished. So I just need to get this done because the person wants to pick it up the 20th. As for the other things, I just basically have till the end of this month. She hasn't given birth yet or anything, so it's just kind of like get it done whenever. So I'm working on finishing up that, but basically I'm almost done with the dog. I'll show you guys later the body and everything because it's that really big dog pattern and I was not expecting this. But then after I do that, all I have to do is the cat, which the cat should not take me that long because I'm quite familiar with the person who makes the patterns. I've done a lot of hers, Crochet Grove, so I think it'll be super easy for me to like knock it out fairly quick. I'm gonna work on finishing this guy. I'm gonna save this cow for probably finishing up on my live stream, which would be really fun. We'll see what other things I get around to today. I really want to start creating a new pattern. I just have like a lot of ideas and I have to decide which one I want to do first, which is a little difficult. Good morning, everybody. It is January 18th, and I have 2 of the items going off to their new home today. So I'm gonna show you guys what they ended up looking like. The other 3 that I have to do that I needed for my other order, I've pretty much done 2 of them. I just have to embroider the eyes on and then they'll be good to go. And then the 3rd item in that order I am currently crocheting right now and it's downstairs. Realistically, it shouldn't take me like anything too long. Really the color changes are what's taking longer. But the other 2 are right there awaiting their finishing touches. I will show you guys the 2 little horses that are going off to their new home today. So this is the first one. This is the actual like plushie type one. I made a plushie and a lovey. So the hard thing with this is this horse had a lot of markings. It was a paint horse. Of course, you know, I had to just like look at a picture and be like, okay, how am I gonna replicate it? Because you either have some paint horses that are like really easy and they're just straightforward, or you have ones kind of like this one where you get more roning and type stuff. And so that's where I ran into some things. But I basically was given like 3 photos. I was given one on the side, one kind of on the other side, not really, it was kind of like a front side angle, and then one dead straight on the face. When I do customs on animals, especially if they're really complex, I always tell people I want every picture you can send me so I can see like every angle. Besides that, then I just have to work with what I'm given. So this is what this one looks like. So it had a little gray stripe on its foot, different markings down the back. The mane was black and then it went to white towards the end. A black tail and then blue eyes. So you'll see I usually embroider my eyes in black yarn, but because of the fact that this horse did have blue eyes, I just decided to do it in blue yarn. And then this is the Lovey one. So same thing, this Lovey, I just did it in blue, the eyes. I didn't do anything too complex because this Lovey on the original pattern had safety eyes, but of course I can't use safety eyes for like a little baby. So I just did the standard little embroidery thing that I usually do so it looks sleepy. And I did it in blue as well on this. Same thing with the mane, black and white. The mane, I had to change some things. It was not necessarily my favorite style pattern in the world. I definitely think that if I get orders for like more Loveys in this horse stuff, I would probably look at doing a different pattern just because I'm not 100% sold on it. I think there's some things that I definitely would change if I continue to use this pattern, and that I have changed on the second one. All in all, it did come out cute. Same thing on this one. It's got that little gray stripe. I did the kind of tan color on the nose opposed to the pink here. Still tried to replicate some of the color changes, but it was a lot harder when I had this yarn, especially because of the fact that this was a lot more rounds and I had a lot more stitches to work with to do more color changes and whatnot, versus this I didn't have as many stitches, so I had to be careful with like how many I was doing to not make it look too crazy. But it did all in all come out all right. It's got the little ears and everything. So these are the two that are going home today, and then I will be finishing up the two in the back hopefully sometime this week, and then the cat I am currently working on. So everyone, this is editing Carrie, and I realized that I never filmed an outro. Honestly, it was my intention to like film the outro, include the cat, the horse, and the dog that I mentioned in this video, in this one in particular, but it's not gonna happen. It will be in next week's video. We have been getting hit with crazy weather down here in Georgia, and it has been in the teens, and I was trying to get all this stuff recorded, and then like we had a pipe bust in my barn, and I have been having to do a lot more stuff with the horses and everything because everything is frozen. So sadly, I was not able to record my original intention for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much again for all of the support that you guys have given me recently. It really is just mind-blowing, and I'm so thankful, and I just want to say thank y'all again from the bottom of my heart. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!